let's ruin some blanks. I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm not. We're gonna ruin all of these blanks today. I lost a pen. Okay, friends, let's ruin all of these blanks today. And you might think I'm joking, but I am for real. I am not kidding. We're gonna ruin every single one of these today. There's a lot of discussion about issues that can happen when you're using Cricut Infusible ink pens and how things can go wrong. And so today we're going to show you how things can go very wrong with Infusible ink pens. And you also might be wondering if a rule is really a big deal. And I'm gonna show you what happens if you break it. So today we're gonna ruin all of these blanks. We're gonna ruin some tote bags and some coasters and some koozies. Let's get into it. As always, if you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. We are back here every single week with all the crafty goodness and you really don't want to miss it. The first issue is faded colors or dull colors, and I will tell you that 99% of the time this happens because you're using a non-compatible blank. With Infusible ink pens, you really have to use things that are set for sublimation, and that's 100% polyester, high polyester counts, light colored fabrics, or hard materials like coasters that are coated with a polymer to make them sublimation ready. So if you're not using things that are ready for sublimation, you're going to get crappy results. So let me show you. This is a 100% cotton tote. So let's try to use our Infusible ink pens on it, shall we? Okay, so the good thing about Infusible ink pens is you just use regular old copy paper, and you can put these directly into your Cricut machine and have it draw whatever you want to draw. But we're just gonna draw by hand today because our entire goal is to show you how this is gonna mess it up. So it's gonna give us dull colors, and honestly, they'll probably wash right out. But for the sake of experimentation, let's just draw something fun. I'm kind of into like the ghosty ghost look. So let's get a ghost here. Don't forget, everything you draw with Infusible ink pens is going to be mirrored. So that is a bonus to having the Cricut draw it for you because drawing things mirrored is usually pretty hard. But I just try to draw things that are like symmetrical. You know, they don't have to worry about it. So coloring, coloring, coloring. Our ghosty friend needs some excitement because he's looking kind of boring. I'm giving him like a scarf for no reason other than I think it's fun. And actually, let's do 2 big Cricut Infusible ink mistakes in one. Because the other thing that can cause massive mistakes is if you don't preheat your blank. So we're gonna talk about that too. Okay, so he's got his little scarf on. He's looking cute. He's looking great. He's looking ready to be pressed onto the tote bag. And remember, we're talking about our first big mistake with Infusible ink pens, which is using a non-compatible blank. So because this is a non-compatible blank, it's 100% cotton, which is a no-no when it comes to sublimation and Infusible ink pens for that matter. It's probably gonna look really faded. It's probably gonna look really uneven. You're gonna see. I am actually gonna pre-press this blank because I want to isolate our variables here like a good scientist. So let's just do this one and then we will move on to our next big mistake that happens with Infusible ink pens. Okay, let's go press it. Okay, we're gonna pretend like we're going through the whole process here, including moving this cup out of the way. We're gonna pre-press our tote bag first, get all that extra moisture out because we're gonna have everything else working against us, so may as well not let this work against us. And we're just gonna press it for about 15 seconds and then I'm gonna press my design. Now because we're pressing straight up copy paper, we do want a protective layer here. So I do like to use like these Teflon sheets. This is like a massive one, but it still works. I'm just gonna press my copy paper down on my design here, place the Teflon sheet over top, and press. Alrighty. Let's see how she ended up. Okay. As you can see, this is how it turned out. It's kind of, you know, very faded. That's what happens when you use a cotton blank, my friends. So, moral of the story, tip number 1, make sure you're using sublimation ready blanks or blanks with a high polyester count and a light color. This one is 100% cotton, which is why we got this result. And honestly, as soon as I wash this tote bag, it's gonna be gone completely probably. The only saving grace of this is it was a ghost design, so it kind of looks like a ghost. Okay, mistake number 2 when using infusible ink pens is ghosting or blurry edges. Ghosting and blurry edges typically happens when your print or your transfer shifts during pressing. The way to avoid this happening is to always use heat tape to tape down your design to your blank when you're pressing so nothing shifts, moves, or shakes during the pressing process. However, you may be wondering, is it really that big of a deal? It's kind of time consuming. So let's do one where we don't tape it down and let's see how it goes. I'm gonna do a really simple design this one. I'm just gonna do some hearts. And again, I'm gonna say this every time, you could have your Cricut draw these for you because remember that everything's gonna be mirrored. So we're having to draw designs that are symmetrical intentionally right now because, actually, why not try it on this one? Let's do it. We're gonna draw some hearts here and then I'm gonna try to write love backwards in cursive. I kind of want it to look like it's weaving in and out. I fear that is going to be illegible, but that's okay. So let's just go over it again. We're gonna commit. We're gonna commit to the process here. Okay, you know, sometimes it just be like that. So that's our design, love mirrored. And we're gonna put it on a coaster. So I gotta choose wisely what blanks I wanna destroy today. And remember, what we're showing is this is what happens when we don't tape down our blanks, which can cause ghosting and blurred edges. So I'm gonna kind of cut this out and then we are just going to place it on top of our coaster and press it. I do fear this is going to be terrible, but we're literally just gonna bloop, just like that, and press it on the heat press back there. So let's do it. We're gonna pre-press our blank first though, as always, because we're trying to isolate our variables. We are true scientists here. Okay, here we are back at the heat press. Let's preheat our little coaster. Ugh, gosh, that's heavy. We're also gonna up the time here because most like hard blanks, we need to press for like 45 to 60 seconds. Alrighty, tidy. Ah! Oh my goodness, where's the coaster? Oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh no, oh no! What? It was stuck to the top plate. Oh my gosh, it smells terrible. How did I do that? Did this have like a protective coating on it? Oh no, it had a protective covering on it and I didn't know. Okay, so potential fail bonus tip. Make sure you check for protective coverings on your blanks before you throw them under a 400-degree heat press or whatever I just had it at. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, let's preheat this guy instead. We're just gonna do that again. We're just gonna round 2. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be peeling plastic off of my heat press for the next 3 to 5 business days. All right. What? Are you joking? Not again. What is going on? Okay, well, we're just gonna be a little more careful this time. So let's place our design face down. And remember, what we're supposed to be testing is what happens if we don't tape it down. So we're gonna not tape it. We're going to lay down our, oh gosh, even like laying down the protective sheet is challenging. Like so, like that. Okay, I do think that's the best way to do it if you're not gonna tape it down, but then like, let's hope nothing moves, you know? Alrighty. Okay, we're pressing that coaster now. Remember, we didn't tape anything down, so we should be expecting ghosting and like blurry edges. It's gonna be a hot mess. This is why I always recommend you tape down your blanks. Tape down your design to your blank, I should say, because it really just keeps everything super crisp. This is about to be not super crisp. Alrighty. Ooh, okay. Plot twist. Look at my backwards love. Not terrible, actually. You know, I expected worse. Okay, here's what I'll say. This could have been a lot worse. I actually think this looks pretty crisp. I think laying down the Teflon sheet helped it stay in place a little bit, but this could be a lot crisper and would be a lot crisper if we had taped it down and really made sure nothing shifted or moved during pressing. So yeah, that's tip number 2. Always use heat tape to keep everything in place because it's just a little fuzzy, you know? Okay, let's go over one more really common mistake that happens with infusible ink pens, and that is uneven transfers or just like really blurry, fuzzy transfers. And 2 things can happen there. One is if you don't pre-press your blank, you can get an uneven transfer. People think pre-pressing your blank is not that important and that you don't really need to do it, but the reality is when you press your blank, you remove excess moisture from inside the blank, and you also ensure that the surface is evenly heated before you press your design on, which makes a massive difference. And also, the blurry, fuzzy edges can often come about when we put too much ink onto the transfer, and then it kind of blows out during the pressing process. So we're gonna test both of those on a mouse pad today. I did already check to make sure it wasn't saran wrapped after our previous mistake. Don't need any of that. Okay, let's do, what do I wanna do? Something green. We're gonna do like a vine maybe that's like very corkscrewy. You guys did not come here to watch me draw though, so I'm just gonna make it quick, okay? I'm not trying to get this crazy. We are ruining blanks today. Honestly, this is like exposure therapy for people who hoard blanks because I'm gonna ruin 4 blanks by the time we're done today. Okay, remember one of the things we're testing is oversaturating with ink. So right now what I'm doing is fine. Like this is a good amount of ink, this isn't a problem, but what I'm gonna do in a second is I'm gonna put a flower in there and I'm gonna show you the difference. I'm gonna put like a ton of ink on it and it will probably blow out during pressing. Okay, we got our little vine. Cute, and now let's make a flower. So I kind of want it to be like just a regular old flower. So we're really showing off my drawing skills today. All right, so I'm gonna color it in. This is another reason why having the Cricut draw your designs can be really helpful, because when we draw things by hand, sometimes we are just naturally gonna go over the design more times than needed, and that can really cause problems. All right, so I'm just gonna really color over this sucker. That's a lot of ink. Also, when we use infusible ink pens, we wanna kind of like press it pretty quick after we draw it because we don't want the ink to get like too dry. This is a flower. It's like about to rip through the page because I've like put so much ink on it. And then let's add a little center to the flower in black. All right, we got our very, very saturated flower. We have our mouse pad and we have our little vine. Let's go ahead and press it. Remember, we're not gonna pre-press our mouse because I wanna show you how that can cause an uneven transfer. And I'm also showing you at the same time how adding too much ink can cause bleed. So yeah, let's do it. No pre-pressing. I am gonna tape it down though so we can isolate that variable at least. We'll just kinda do it like that. We just need it to stay put. It doesn't have to be fancy. We're just trying to prevent this thing from moving around. All right, Teflon sheet so we don't melt anything else today. 1 is enough, and let's press it. All right, here we go, the big reveal. Ooh. Okay, so really what we're looking at here is a few things. On the flower, you can really see how it's blown out in the center there. It's way too much ink. It's like blowing out, it's inconsistent. It don't look good. And that's from using too much ink. That's from going over it too many times. Then you can see that we have a really inconsistent press. Even just on the vine, this area is much darker and sharper than this area over here, and that is from not pre-pressing our blank. This blank has been sitting around for a while, and pre-pressing it would have ensured even heat, and it also would have gotten all the excess moisture out of the design, and we did not do that, so we ended up with this problem. Okay friends, that is 4 really common mistakes you can make with infusible ink pens and how to resolve them. Number 1, always make sure you're using compatible blanks. Sublimation ready, high polyester, light colored designs, all great. Second, Make sure that you are taping your design down. We don't want any shifting, moving, or shuffling happening during the pressing process because we want those designs to be crisp, clean, and clear. And then third, make sure we're not using too much ink. We can resolve that really easily by just having the Cricut draw our designs for us, or just by ensuring we're not going over things too many times. And always pre-press your blank. A lot of people think that these tips are just miscellaneous rules and you don't really have to follow them and they don't make that big of a difference. But the goal here today is to show you that they do indeed make a big difference in the final outcome of your product. So make sure you follow them each and every time for flawless projects with Cricut Infusible Ink pens. Also, just a public service announcement. Make sure you check your blanks for a clear covering or a clear protectant before you throw it under a 300-degree heat press. Not that I would ever do that, but you know, for like a less experienced friend maybe. Yeah. Happy crafting, friends. I hope you have a great rest of your week. I'm gonna throw all those away because they are now ruined. So I hope you got a lot out of this video because I sure did. And I ruined some blanks in the process. Until next time, happy crafting.